I just wanted to give you some information on how to maneuver around EdPlan a little bit more and to maybe check on what your special ed teachers are working on. So if you're ever curious about those things, this is a way you can kind of check on things. So if you have not logged into EdPlan, you do have a login. If you aren't remembering that and you want to get in, just email April Jones or I, and we can let you know how to get into that. But if you have, like I said, if you haven't, you'll probably need to contact us. But if you have, you may have to change your password, but you should be able to get in. So once you've logged in, your screen is going to look a little bit different than mine. Your home screen won't look quite like this. You'll probably actually have a list of students here because you're listed on Teams. So I'm going to just show you what you would want to do as a principal. So if I'm wanting to check on, like, to see what things are coming up or if any IEPs are out of date, this is the screen you could come to. So you click on students and it's going to give you this search. So when you come to school, you're only going to have one school to choose from. I'm going to do Burton right now. That's one of the schools that I work at. You can click on IEP and then you're going to sort by case. So once I do this sort, I'm going to have a list of all of the students that are on IEPs at Burton, and it's going to be by case manager. This is telling me, this column right here tells me that the projected IEP date, so I know when it should be due. Green means it's in compliance, there's not a problem. Yellow means it's upcoming. Red means it's out of compliance. So if you wanted to know, for example, if you're one of the principals at Burton, you may want to say, okay, how many IEPs do I have coming up? You can sort this by projected IEP, and you can see the next one that's going to be due by April 11th. So you can look at these dates to know when things should be done. And you can see that these are all the yellow ones that are upcoming. And I believe it's about a month in advance that it turns yellow. So these are the ones that will be happening at Burton Elementary, either in the preschool or the regular part of Burton. So that's one way you can do a search. And then if you want to know what's happening, you can hover over these icons and it will tell you what needs to be happening. So if it's red, it's going to tell you why it's out of compliance. If it's yellow, it's telling us that a new IEP needs to be done. And then let me just show you what happens. So sometimes we have referrals that are coming up, and that's usually when we get things that are, so you can click on this referral box, and I'm going to sort by case manager. So these are students that have been referred and they are not necessarily placed in special ed yet. So you can see we have a bunch of different colors of icons over on this side. So the red ones are the ones that are out of compliance. So if I hover over this bottom one, it says that the student has been referred or is eligible but is past due to receive parental consent to evaluate. So they have not received the parental consent to evaluate. Now that may, so what happens is if they haven't put in, they have got consent but they didn't put in the date, there's some other things that could be causing that. So if I saw that and I was the principal, I would go to that teacher and just say, hey, what's going on with the student? Why is it red? How can we fix that? There's one that's gray here that just says the student will need their initial eligibility soon. So this one has been referred and they've got the consent, and this is telling us the date of the 60-day timeline. So Emma will need to have her eligibility meeting by May 1st, and that's just what that's telling. So this is telling us the date that the 60-day timeline will be up. So this one right here will be done by April 10th. So that one is coming up and we'll need to have a meeting set up soon. So that just gives you some other information. Now, if you want to look at a student individually, so for example, so if I wanted to look up a student individually, I can pull up is on a speech IEP, and you can pull that up and you can look at other details if you want. So this is going to give us a whole bunch of other details. You probably wouldn't need all that information, but that's just another way that you can look up students. You can see what documents have been placed, and right now everything is in compliance for the student. So, but you can see if you needed to look at some of those other information as well. But this is this student search is a great way that you can find kids that you need that are on IEPs and who's the case manager, especially at those schools that have multiple special ed teachers, and whether they're in compliance or not. So hopefully this helped. If you like I said, if you have any questions, you can ask April Jones or I, and we can get you set up on this. But this would be the main thing that you would need to look at on EdPlan.